Welcome to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics podcast, a lifestyle podcast with a magical twist. I'm your host, Caitlin May, and I'm a self-proclaimed Disney adult and childless millennial who is obsessed with Harry Potter, Florida Sunshine, and all things basic. Here on the podcast, I chat weekly about everything Disney, Harry Potter, theme park news, and navigating my basic late 20s life. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is our first full episode of season 4. I'm so excited. One thing that I do want to start the episode off with, though, is something that I want to implement in all of our episodes from now on, and that is recognizing a basic of the week, which I'm just going to randomly put in our Instagram followers and pick a random one to shout out today. So if you hear yourself on the episode, let us know, and thank you so much for following us on Instagram. So this week's basic of the week is at This Princess Life. Thank you so much for following us on Instagram, and if you want to be called out as basic of the week, be sure that you're following us or leave us a rate and review. So this week our episode is very exciting. We wanted to start off on a spooky note, and I have my friend Nikki with me. She is a ghost host at the Haunted Mansion, and I think you guys are going to love her episode. So, Nikki, thank you so much for being with us this week.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited. I've never been on a podcast or anything like that, so, I'm nervous, excited, all of the above.
Oh, don't be nervous. This is, super chill.
Okay.
Just two friends hanging out,
Yeah.
chatting all things Haunted Mansion today.
Yeah.
So, I'm very excited. I love that you came, on theme,
Yeah,
entirely.
I had to. I brought my mini-me. I wore a Haunted Mansion shirt, which, when you start working at an attraction, it becomes not your
becomes
personality.
your whole identity.
But, you specifically, and I'm like, oh my god, I work there. I have to have it. I need that. And, you start, rationalizing things that, truly, a normal person would be like, now that looks nice. And then you're like, no, I need it.
So if you guys are watching on YouTube, then you get the full effect. Because you can see little tiny Nikki Ghost Host right here. I love that you painted
I did paint her hair
to make it look like you.
She came with red hair, and I was like, that is not me.
I think that's the cutest thing ever. You even gave yourself your little shadow root.
Yeah, I did. See, I had to. Had to.
I love it. It's the cutest thing ever. And your Ghost Host backpack, which is so cute, and then your shirt. And you've got some props for some of our questions coming up.
Yeah, I do. I knew that question was going to happen because there are a couple of questions that were, you sent me that I literally get about 20 times throughout the course of my work day. Yeah, I get them a lot.
Well, I'm excited. I don't know most of these answers, so I am just interested in hearing the answers as well. So let's start off our episode, though. So a couple seasons back, we basically were saying our highs and lows of the week and our favorites of the week. So I decided to brand them on theme. So your high is going to be your Soarin'.
My Soarin'.
Soarin' over the world, but you're it's high. A high of the week.
Yeah.
And then Splash is your low of the week. Splash Mountain because you plummet to your death,
Okay.
Okay. And then I collect pins, and so your favorite is going to be your pin of the week.
Oh.
So let's start off.
Favorite event?
Or just favorite product that you're doing, or this is my favorite of this week. This is my favorite thing of this week. So let's start off with the Soarins and Splashes. Do you want to go first? Your high and low of the week?
You can go first.
Okay.
Let me think.
So I did not prep you for this section. I wanted it organic. Okay, so my high, my Soarin' of the week probably is this, because this is the first recording that we're doing for season 4, so that's very exciting to get this kicked off. And then I don't really have a splash of the week. I guess my splash of the week is that it was just a normal, typical week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My soaring is going to be this. I was really excited for this. I've never been on a podcast, anything like that. So I was like, oh my god, this will be really fun. I've never done anything like that. oh. When you sit down and think about it, you're kind of like, okay. I think that my splash of the week is, I didn't get to work at the mansion at all this week just because I did injure myself.
Oh, yeah.
On the job, I think over at Jungle Cruise, and so I wasn't able to do anything. I was kind of like on light duty. They had me helping at the Emporium, which was different. It wasn't horrible, but like I saw all of my friends having fun.
I saw that you had to get up like super early one day, and you were like, "I hate it."
So
I hate being here.
They called me the day after it happened, and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna put you on light duty. We're gonna change up your schedule and everything. You're gonna be at the Emporium." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." Go on my schedule, and it says 6 a.m. And I was like, "What?" And so I live like at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes away. So like the way my schedule works, like for me waking up and preparing, I had to wake up at 4:30,
Rip.
leave by 5, and then get there at 6.
Rip.
And I was just like, I literally, like, this is the cheesiest thing. I literally purchased these vitamin B12 patches from Target to like, it said like put it on one of your
energy,
veins.
right?
Yeah, they work. I had to like wait until like a certain point of the day where I was like, yeah, I was going through it. It was tough.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to go first on the favorites, or do you want me to?
I'll go first.
Okay,
so today is the 11th.
Yes.
They just announced today at D23 that they're going to have Happily Ever After coming back.
Yes.
Which I had a feeling something, I knew that Enchantment was not going to stay because it was just the 50th. Like,
right.
All of us cast members were like, there's no way they're keeping this. There's no way. And so...
And because it's the worst.
Yeah, it is. I'm not a fan. They were talking about, like, oh, yeah, 100 years of, like, the Walt Disney Company is going to be coming right after that. So, like, they've got to be doing either something different or, like, they'd be stupid not to bring back, like,
truly
Happily Ever After.
With all of the, like, public, like, I don't want to say backlash, but, like, public opinion about... I suspected when Jordan Fisher tweeted about it.
Oh yeah, I do remember
I was
that.
like, something's happening.
I do remember that. I was kind of like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, maybe there's gonna be like a new one. Like, I feel like they're gonna do something new. But like, my thing is like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Like, why did they change it?
And it had such a short run compared to like the other fireworks shows of the past. So I was like, they cannot end it.
I literally grew up on like Wishes, and me and my dad and I, like, our favorite thing was Illuminations. So like Illuminations is one of my favorite. Like, not enough people talk about it. Like, I loved
Illuminations.
I loved it.
So, very great pin for the week. Oh, I just hit this. I wrote mine before the news of Happily Ever After came back. So, I would say my favorite pin of the week is the new Amazon show, Rings of Power.
Oh, my boyfriend has been talking about that. Like, is it good?
Yeah, I think it's great. I was not a super huge Lord of the Rings fan. Jonathan is more than I am, and he likes it too. So I feel like I can only say, like, from a surface level, like, I objectively think this is a good show.
I think he was talking about it yesterday. Like, I have never been super into the Lord of the Rings. My brother and my dad took me to the movies when one of them came out, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch this movie. It was 2.5 hours long. I was like, when is this gonna be over?
I definitely think that it's working really well in the show format.
Yeah,
because you get as much detail as like you do from the films and the extended versions of the films, but it's definitely more in like bite-sized pieces because it is a show.
Yeah, he was saying that like at first he was like, oh, it's not gonna be good, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, like, you really had your hopes up. And I was like, okay, at least you have like House of Dragon to like, watch, because he's obsessed with that too. And he was like, I changed my mind, and I was like, why? And he was like, the last episode that just came out was so good, and I was like, oh,
it's been really, really good. I don't know, with things like that, and like I kind of felt the same way about House of Dragon because I was like super into Game of Thrones, and then like it ended the way it did, and crushed my heart and soul and
It
spirit.
was bad.
And so when House of Dragon was announced, I was like, ugh, do I even start it? Like,
Do I go through the heartbreak
right?
once
Do
more?
I just like let them play me all over again, or do I like learn from my mistakes? But I've been really enjoying House of Dragon too. I think it's exceeded my
it's pretty good,
expectations.
yeah.
So, one thing from season 3 that when I asked what you wanted to see stay in our like upcoming seasons, this was basically the unanimous vote.
Oh.
And that is the 2-minute lightning round.
Oh, this would be fun.
So,
I'm ready.
that is what we have next. We're going to pull 2 minutes up on the clock, but one thing that is very exciting about the lightning round now, it's lightning round 2.0, okay?
Okay.
So I've taken out all of the trivia questions and I've also added in a lot of pop culture questions.
Oh my.
So this is a kind of mix of like Disney, Harry Potter, pop culture.
Okay, I think I'll do fine.
But it's all opinion questions. So
if I take too long,
well,
move
that's
me
what I was
on.
about to say. You can either say skip or you can just rapid fire answer.
Okay.
Cool?
Okay.
All right. So Mac or PC?
I have a Mac.
Okay. Favorite Harry Potter couple?
I love Luna.
Okay.
She did not. I think her and Neville would have been really cute.
Yes.
So.
Agreed. Should Carrie have ended up with Mr. Big
Carrie.
from Sex and the City?
Oh, I never watched that
Okay,
show.
we'll skip.
Okay.
NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
I'm gonna go with Backstreet.
Which land do you start in Magic Kingdom?
Okay, I always start in Liberty Square, but if you're trying to do it all, I feel like Fantasyland and then come forward.
What is your go-to comfort television show?
Modern Family.
Could Jack have fit on the door with Rose?
Absolutely. Selfish woman. I mean, they probably would have sank if he did, but like, yes, he technically could have fit.
Favorite Disney kiss?
That's a tough one. The easy one for me is Rapunzel. That was really cute.
What is your favorite, who is your favorite boy band, I should ask?
I don't have a favorite boy. I love Marshmallow. He's not a boy band, but, don't have a boy band. I guess it was One Direction when they were together.
R.I.P. Yes. Best Stranger Things character?
Steve. I love Steve. And then behind him would be Eddie Munson, obviously. I do love Eddie.
America's sweetheart. The superior Marvel Chris. Hemsworth, Evans, or why am I forgetting the other one? Pratt, thank you.
Chris Pratt is really nice to look at, but I'm gonna go with Chris Evans. My boyfriend is obsessed with him, and he's like, I look like him. And I'm like, okay, keep telling yourself that. I mean, he's pretty similar. When he had the beard, he like photoshopped his head on the picture. Oh.
Amazing. Okay, last one that we're going to end off with. Which Disney villain would you party with?
You know, I do like being the hyenas, but okay, so
Okay,
this is
fair.
This
I
is
feel
really
like it
funny.
would be a good party.
I would definitely a party with Pain and Panic because I was working the parade during
I had no idea that they were in the parade, and I lost my mind.
So funny. Okay, so if you watch the parade,
I love Pain and
you
Panic.
see that us working the parade have light wands.
Yeah.
They have light wands. And they make fun of us. It was so funny. So my leader was standing next to me and he was like, oh my God, they have light wands. I was like, yeah, look, they'll make fun of us. And I was like waving my wand and saying hi. And I think it was, which one's Pain and which one's, Pain is the blue one, right?
Yes.
Okay, Panic was looking at me and shoved his light wand up his nose. And I was like, oh, he's mocking me.
That is truly
Yeah,
amazing.
it was funny. It was funny.
I was so hyped to see them in the show.
I would definitely party with them.
So, let's get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
Tell them just like, who is Nikki?
Chaos. I am a chaos coordinator, I would say.
Chaos queen.
Yeah. I don't know. I am a Florida girly. I've lived in Florida all my life. And if you're going to sit here and say, like, oh, no, she's not a Florida girly. I literally lived in the pits of Florida. Like,
Literally.
Literally the pits of Florida. If you do not know where Marathon, Florida is, I'm going to tell you, like, Key West. That's all you need to know. You have to drive through Marathon to get to Key West. There are, like, 3 islands, which are the Keys, like, 3 main ones. I am the middle one. So I lived there up until I was 18, and then when I graduated high school, I moved to Orlando. At first, I did not work for Disney. I worked for Universal.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
What did you do?
So first I worked on City Walk. I was a sales associate at Billabong, which was like the surf shop that
Very
everybody
Florida
goes through.
Keys of you.
Yeah. Like it was literally like I showed up and they were like, this woman literally like looks like a Billabong like
ad
snob. Yeah. And so I got the job, needless to say, and like all the clothes was like stuff that I wear. So like my paycheck basically got funneled into like clothes and stuff like that.
You were like, don't pay me at all. Just like let me pick out.
And then after that, that is where I met my boyfriend. So I like work relationship. I decided to go because like he was in a spot
Higher
of authority. Role. Yeah, so it was like unfair to ask him. But then I ended up being a lifeguard at Cabana Bay, which was fun for a while. And then I was like, no, I want to go to Disney. So I went to Disney,
and you started off as a ghost host.
Yeah, so it was really funny. At the time, I was going through some health things with my dog. And so my family was also visiting, and they were like, okay, so, like, they call it your most magical day when you start. Like, they have traditions, and then if you're at Magic Kingdom, they call it your most magical day. Or, like, it's kind of like a Magic Kingdom orientation. Mm-hmm. So they scheduled it, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. Like, my parents are in town. I'm dealing with some stuff with, like, my dog's health and all this stuff. And they were like, okay, well, if you don't go on the day that we scheduled you, you're not going to be where you are placed. And I was like, do you know where I'm placed? And the lady was like, well, yeah, I do. I put you there. And I was like, okay, am I allowed to know? And she was like, yeah, you're at the Haunted Mansion. My heart dropped.
You were like, stop everything. I'm going.
I'll be there. I literally called my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm so sorry. Like, we're going to have to move some things around. Like, I am not passing this up. So, like, I was put there, like, that is my first Disney job that I've had.
That's such a good one to start off with. Yeah.
Because, like, when I had my interview, they were like, okay, so, like, where do you want to be? Like, what are you thinking? I was like, I want to be at the Haunted Mansion. Like, he was like, okay, well, that's a very broad area. So, like, a lot of people don't know, Adventureland and Liberty Square are together. Because, like, Liberty Square itself is so small. So, like, when you get attractions in... We call it Ad-Lib, Adventureland Liberty Square. When you get attractions there, you can get Pirates, Jungle Cruise, the Liberty Boat, Hall of Presidents, and the Haunted Mansion, Tiki Room, carpets, all that stuff. So it was kind of a gamble because I could have been at Tiki Room.
Right.
Like, so it was really exciting when they told me I was going to be there. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I love that.
I'll go there. Yeah.
Super fun. So what is your favorite Disney film?
That I love Up. So I have them categorized, I guess. Like Up is my like top favorite movie. I tend to like Pixar movies more than I like Disney movies. If I had to pick Disney, it would be Rapunzel. Okay. If I had to go down the list of Pixar, it would go Up, WALL-E, Coco.
WALL-E is such an underrated one.
I absolutely adore WALL-E with my whole heart. Like WALL-E, Eve can go out the door because like she did not love him when he loved her. Yeah. Everybody's like, oh my god, look, this is so cute. WALL-E and Eve. Like, no, just take Eve out of the picture. I just want WALL-E. He was at D23 and I freaked out. Oh, like his robot was at D23 and I freaked out. I was like, cute.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He's so cute.
So why do you think you like why are you drawn more to Pixar than Disney?
I think what it is that, of course, like, when you watch a Disney movie, you're like, oh, okay, it has its, like, protagonist, like, wants to do specific thing, like Ariel. She wanted to go up and live with all the normal people. She didn't want to be a mermaid anymore. And then, like, there's the middle part and everything. But with, like, Pixar movies, I feel like there's, like, a whole... It's, like, a very up and down. Like, with Disney movies, I feel like it's a very hill.
It's not so formulaic.
Yeah. And, like, what I really... Like, I always end up crying during a Pixar movie. Like, they really... To me, the animation is, like, top tier. Like, if you literally, like, zoom in on a picture of like their clothes. You can see every thread. So me as like, I used to like draw and do artist stuff all the time. To me, I appreciate it in that aspect, but I also like appreciate that like if I was showing my kids this, there's a lesson to be learned. There's like a story to it. Like I watched Inside Out and I was like, oh, it's a little kid movie. Like it's gonna be so cute. Like I bawled my eyes out when they left Bing Bong. I was like, no.
I feel like a lot of people have trauma from that one moment.
Like I can't even.
All
like,
of us
my friend,
be like, don't leave him.
He's always like my friend. He's always like, I feel like Bing Bong would be the better imagination. Like, take Figment out. And me being the Figment stan that I am,
True.
I'm just like, no. And he's like, no, but he's literally like a figment of your imagination. I was like, I cannot look at that thing with all the trauma that I have from that movie and just be okay with it. Like, Figment is Figment.
All the joy.
Exactly. Like, and like, I think I heard also that a lot of like child psychologists are like using that movie to kind of like help kids like understand their emotions, because like I saw like it was like a thread of something and they were saying like if you look at it again, like you watch it again, the mom's like middle person, so like the kid's middle person was joy controlled all the emotions, the mom's one was sadness, and the dad's one was anger. So like you kind of like figure out who a person is by like their emotions and stuff, like, and they were using like that to like help kids with like their dealing of emotions, because like when you're that little, like you don't know how to oh yeah,
no, I think that's such a good I thought that movie was genius.
It was so smart. And like I can
genius.
go all day about each individual movie. Like Pixar like is always like, this is the story and this is what you need to learn by this. And like their Pixar shorts, oh my god, they're like those so funny, so unhinged. Yes, I love them.
Truly, unhinged is the best word to describe it.
The Doug Days was so funny.
The Bow one,
yeah.
Unwell.
The Bow
after
one
that
was
Unwell.
They were so funny.
Okay, so are you a big Harry Potter fan?
Yes, I am.
Love
I
that for
finished
you.
those books when I was in elementary school.
So what house are you?
I am a Ravenclaw. Like through and through. I am a Ravenclaw.
Love that, because I too am a Ravenclaw.
My boyfriend calls me Webster.
Because, amazing.
So like when we first started dating, he would say something, I'm like, actually no, like and like he would be like, okay Webster, like you have an answer, or like you can defend anything.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I can't, because like,
you're like, it's because I read.
Yeah. I literally,
because I'm a Ravenclaw.
he is a Gryffindor like through and through, and he's like, no, I think I'm now a Slytherin. I was like, you're probably both, but it's whatever.
Hello, Magical Basics. Have you been thinking about starting your own podcast, but you don't know where to begin? I completely understand, because when Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics first launched, I felt the exact same way. Honestly, thank goodness that I had Anchor to help me. So, if you've never heard of Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. I know what you're thinking. Katie, is it really that easy? Oh, it is. So let me tell you how. First, it's completely free. We love that. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's literally everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you so much to Anchor for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
All right, so I am very, very excited to hear all of your answers about the mansion.
Spooky answers.
Yes, all of your answers. So let's just
I know the first one.
Start off on a strong one. All right, so these questions, if you missed it on our Instagram, these questions all were submitted through our Instagram. So if you're not following us, be sure that you are, because every time that I prepare for an episode or to have a guest on, I will ask in the question box, this time I asked, what is your one question you would want to ask a ghost host? So that's where these questions come from. So be sure you're following on Instagram. First question is a doozy. We're just starting off on a high note, okay? Do y'all really have to vacuum a lot of ashes up from the attraction?
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot give you a definitive answer. I'm just going to tell you it does not go where you think it goes. So if you think your loved ones are just going to chill in the mansion for the rest of their lives, it's not sanitary. I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to stay there. However, it is treated with care because we know those are people's loved ones.
Right.
So we treat it with the utmost respect that we can, but we do it in a way where, like, Mom and Dad can't stay in here. It's
right.
not sanitary.
Right.
We gotta do something with them. So it is known that, like, people will constantly, like, dispose of loved ones in our ride. I think I've also heard that they do it in Small World. I genuinely
would
don't
come back
know.
and haunt my family if they left me into Small World.
Well, I've heard multiple, like, I would too. I told my mom that. I was like, Mom, maybe one day I'll just, like, drop you off in Small World. She said, if you ever do that to me, I will literally, like,
if I had to choose a Disney attraction to spread my mom at, it would be Hall of Presidents, because she forces me to go into the Hall of Presidents.
Listen,
every time she
but,
goes
like,
to
that
Disney.
attraction has the most, like, beautimous air conditioning.
It does. It's
I will
a great
literally
AC
be working
spot.
the parade route, and, like, I'll stand in front. I'm like, oh my god,
Just, like, soaking up Hall of Presidents.
yeah,
AC.
it's the founding fathers really did a good job with the air conditioning. But yeah, your loved ones don't stay on the ride. It is known that they get dumped all the time, but yeah, I'm so sorry.
Wild. Truly, there you have it. Okay, so what is the weirdest thing that you had happen to you on your shift?
Okay, it kind of goes into the first question. So, like, my first time working at, like, my first month working at the mansion, they train us and they're just like, okay, this is what often happens, and this is, like, this can happen. Like, they give us all the what ifs and that this will happen or this won't happen, like, regardless of if it's, like, the ashes or whatever. They tell us everything that might happen.
Right.
And so when they did tell me about the ashes, my training again was also around 6 a.m. Like, not 6 a.m., but, like, really early in the morning,
right.
Like 7. I was half asleep reading, because, like, they have us read all this stuff. And I was half asleep reading, and I was like, oh my god. And my trainer was like, are you okay? And I was like, I have a question. And she was like, okay, what's your question? And I was like, yeah, do I have to deal with this? And she was like, I mean, it happens. It
More
happens.
than you think.
Yeah, and, like, actually, this is, like, really interesting. As much as I was prepared for the ashes, like, they did, like, kind of give us a heads up, I didn't know that a lot of people, like, just get sick on the ride.
That surprises me.
And it surprised me a lot, too, because, like, obviously, like, same as the ashes, like, it's not sanitary. So,
right.
like, when it happens, we either have to, like, those things are high priority of, like, cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if that happens, we have to block it off, or, like, if it's in the ride, we have to close the ride and, like, go clean it up. Obviously, if the ride is closed, like, the answer we're gonna give you is we're having technical difficulties.
Right.
Or you'll get the themed answer, like, oh, the ghosts are up to no good.
Right.
But that is another thing that has happened. So, like, my weird story that has happened to me during the shift is I had a family in my stretch room, and they were being kind of like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Like, this is so, like,
just, like, weird.
They're
acting.
being suspicious. And a lot of people don't know, when you're at the mansion, you are not in, like, one spot all day. So, like, the frequent thing that people would tell me is like, oh my god, she walks all day. Like, I don't stay on that belt all day, I promise. If I did, I would probably, like, be a Victoria's Secret model, who knows. But I was in the stretch room, and they were acting suspicious, and I was like, okay. They go on, and then I get moved over to the belt, like, somewhere on the belt. And then they're just like, okay, don't let any more people on. We're gonna kind of cycle everything out, and we need custodial to come and take care of something. At first, I thought somebody got sick on the ride, and like they did. Someone got sick on the ride, and then they had another one come by, and I was like, wait, was there something else? And they were like, yeah, someone dropped a loved one on the ride. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, why are you acting like this has never happened before? And I was like, well, because there was someone in my room that was a little suspicious, and they were clutching an object of some sort. So I was like, kind of, yeah,
Should have been a little sus of them.
Yeah, and then it was funny because like it was in a container that I thought there was food in. And so I was like, okay, just so you know, like, there's no eating inside here. And they were fully like, oh, okay, no, don't worry. We won't eat in here.
Well, yeah, we won't eat because it's grandma.
No. Yeah, so I was kind of like,
oh.
It could have been them. It could have not been them.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question. Because that ride is, like, super dark.
Mm-hmm.
How quickly after, like, someone gets sick or... Like, I don't know how to ask this. Like, do you basically have to wait for someone to, like, go through the ride and be like, hey, by the way, I think someone got sick for you to realize it? Or is it easy to monitor, like, as the cars are going through
So we don't have a camera in there.
Okay.
The cars are continuous. Like, there's no break unless they take a vehicle out of service. And when they do, they, like, it's funny because it's it's a themed thing that covers the spot where the cars, it's an ottoman. It's we call it the haunted ottoman.
Wait, that's amazing.
I've only seen it once.
Before.
I've only seen it once. It's very rare because sometimes they'll just tag the vehicle and the vehicle stays there. But when that particular event happened, the parent, because I think it was a child, like just wasn't having a grand old time with their tummy. She mentioned like my son kind of got sick on the ride. I just want to let you know.
Gotcha.
So sometimes they'll just tell us. Other times, like, they're like, oh, I'm so embarrassed, or like they just don't want to tell you. We do ride-throughs frequently throughout the time, also to make sure that everything is working.
Right.
Because like it's such an old ride where like things will like have technical difficulties and stuff like that. So like when you start working there are key, we call them like top tier show scenes.
Okay.
So like for example, if Madame Leota's face was not working, ride close.
I would be upset.
Yeah, so like those
favorite.
are like pivotal things of the mansion.
Right.
If they're
some,
not
like,
working,
non-negotiable things.
yeah, they have to like close so they can fix it really quick and then open again. We'll do a ride through. If somebody reports that there's an odd odor inside, because like odors is something like we don't play with. Like for example, if there's like a chemical odor, or if there's like a smoke odor, or if there's like an unsanitary odor, like somebody had an accident, or like they had that upset stomach, they tell us like, hey, it smells like this, it smells strange. We go on a ride through, we try to figure out if we can smell it or where it's coming from, and then from there we go, like custodial has to come and like we ask them to like take care of it. It's a whole process.
That's wild. Follow-up question, because this is just like opening so many.
It's.
I'm wondering so many things about. So for people who fix, like you said, you know, like Madame Leota could not work.
Mm-hmm.
If she was broken, do you have like certain people on your team always that are like versed in fixing that specific attraction, or is it just like a Disney engineer in general?
So, Disney has like a whole bunch of like mechanics, like we call maintenance.
Yeah,
they have like whenever something happens, like for example, like the ride goes down, or we have an unusual like noise or whatever. If we go down, we have to call maintenance. Like maintenance has to be one of the first people to know about everything, because they have to log things, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And so when we go down, we have 2 people during the day, and then we have 2 people during the night. So whatever does not get fixed in the day will get fixed at night, and we actually have like a maintenance base, I think, attached to our building.
Oh, okay.
Because they're called no, I was gonna say people movers. They are called Omni-Movers.
Okay.
So, like, People Mover, Buzz Lightyear, Haunted Mansion,
Yeah, it's
Little Mermaid.
Kind of the same ride.
They're all called
system.
Omni-Movers. Excuse me. They're all called Omni-Movers because they go, like, they're all connected.
That's fair. So, like, if you're trained on People Mover, you obviously
It's very
can fix
easy. Yeah.
Little Mermaid.
One of my best friends.
Same technology.
Yeah, one of my best friends from DCP came from People Mover.
Okay.
So, like, when she was training, like, she knew all this stuff. Like, she understood all of that.
That's really cool.
Yeah. We, like, it's super fun because, like, the night maintenance guys, like, we see them more often just because, like, they're waiting to go in. They're waiting for us, our ride to close down. And, like, at the end of the night, we do, like, walk through the ride to find people's, like, lost items or see if everything's doing okay, pick up trash, whatever.
Right.
We say hi to them all the time because, like, they're waiting for us to finish
Right.
up. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. This one I'm excited for. I thought this was the sweetest little question that I got.
Oh, I like this one.
Yes.
I got a good one.
What is a cool fact or story that you would tell a 7-year-old whose favorite Magic Kingdom attraction is the Haunted Mansion?
Okay, so everybody knows about the engagement ring. No? Okay, never mind. I'm so sorry.
I don't think I do.
Okay, so there's my favorite thing about the Haunted Mansion is how much story there is in this, like, attraction that went into it. So this question could probably take like 30 minutes or so. The story about the engagement ring. So the official story is that in the line, the extended line, there was a stanchion that got pulled out. And so there was a metal ring on the floor, like, from the stanchion. The guests, like, were like, oh my God, that's gotta be, like, the wedding ring from the bride in the mansion.
Right.
So, like, they kept talking about it and saying, like, you gotta go find the ring, you gotta go do this. Imagineering got hold of that story. And this is what I've heard. So I don't know 100% if this is really what happened.
Right.
But this is what was, like, I was told. Imagineering got hold of that story and they went with it. So years down the line, they took out the old stanchion ring and replaced it with a ring-like replica. So, like, now instead of it just being a ring, it's a ring with, like, a knob on it that's supposed to be, like, the diamond or pearl or whatever it may be. So people always come through the mansion looking for that. So, like, that's a common one that a lot of people know. What a lot of people don't know is that in the extended queue area, you see the busts of the family members.
Mm-hmm.
If you read those busts, I don't remember the order. You're supposed to read them in a specific order. I think it's like center out or out all the way to the other side. There's like a little story on it, like a lore.
Is it the section where it kind of like semicircles?
Yeah, it's like,
and it's the stand-up
you have the
ones.
kid,
They're like yay high.
the creepy little
the
kids.
Twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There is a story, like, somebody in that family murdered the family. So they could get, like, the money or something from the family. And so you read that in the extended queue and you go on the ride, and at the end of the ride, it tells you who committed the crime. I didn't know that. Out of all the years that I've been going to the mansion, they were like, oh yeah, like, the answer to the riddle is over here. I was like, what? So there's an answer.
So it's on the ride or when you exit?
The answer to the riddle is on the ride. Like, at the, I can just tell you where. It's over by the Hitchhiking Ghosts.
Okay.
So, like, there's, like, you see who it is.
Okay, I want to look for that next time.
Yeah, and it's not easy to tell who it is because there's, like, a screen in front of it. Like, that kind of makes it, like, darker. So it's kind of hard. Like, I couldn't tell who it was when I was riding it. I had to see it when I was doing my walkthrough.
Right.
Another cool thing is a lot of people, like, probably know about the hidden Donald on our ride.
Donald Duck?
Yeah, we have a hidden Donald. Oh my gosh. We have a hidden Donald. It's on the chair when you're looking at the endless hallway with the candelabra.
Yes.
The chair, like, the sewing on the like, back of the chair
is Donald?
It's supposed to be the face of Donald.
Okay, wait. I'll tell you
question.
a couple that I've heard. Is that originally it wasn't supposed to be this way, but everybody thinks that Madame Gracie is the ghost host.
No.
Not
So,
Madam Gracie.
I can tell
Gracie.
you the story about the ghost
Yes,
house.
let's do that.
So the story of the ghost house, Master Gracie is the one in the portrait.
Yes,
that
and I
is
also
who he
heard
is.
that wasn't supposed to be it either.
No, it's him.
That Gracie was just an Imagineer that originally worked on it.
That I think the name
Yeah.
is like where it came from. That it was an Imagineer. I think that's where Gracie came from.
Okay.
A lot of the names on the tombstones and stuff like that are names
Our
of
OG Imagineers.
Yeah, of the Imagineers that worked on that. Master Gracie is the one.
Yeah, Chuck.
Master Gracie is the one in the portrait that the aging man.
Yes,
that is Master Gracie. The ghost host is the gentleman hanging from the top of the stretch room, who is also the person who is narrating. So the story behind why he's in the top of the stretch room is that he was one of those devoted, like, butlers. Like, he loved his master, like, not, like, in a romantic way.
So that's why it's his way.
Yes.
There's always my way.
Yes. So he,
My brain just exploded.
He loved Master Gracie so much that when he passed away, he was so sad. And that he wanted to, like, not put himself out of his misery, but he wanted to serve him
with his master.
To be with his master, but like he cut himself down so he could serve the mansion for the rest of his like afterlife. That's what they've told us. Cause like when you work at attractions, they give you a story,
Right?
So like we don't serve the dead. We are simply like keepers of the house, not housekeepers, but like maids of the house.
Right.
We tend to the ghosts and the things in the mansion. So like we're not like maids or butlers or like that's the costume, but like that is what our description is. We tend to the tenants in our mansion.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I had a second one, but I can't remember it. Hold on, it's gonna come to me.
I can tell you about we have hidden Jack Skellingtons in our ride.
Shut up.
This one you can't see.
That is like my biggest pet peeve is that we do not get the overlay.
Yeah.
I just want to go
but,
see it
like,
so bad.
I also want to see it, but at the same time, like, if my spooky house was changed for, like, half the year, I'd be like, okay, I'm bored now. I'd want to see it for a little bit and then just be like, okay, time to go back.
So, Hidden Jack Skellington.
Yes. I don't know how many specifically there are. I've found 2. There was one in the library and there's one in the attic. The only way I've seen them, I have, like, poor eyesight I have astigmatism, so sometimes I can see them and sometimes I can't.
It is a hard ride to like
it is pretty
try
dark.
And figure things. Like I don't think I'd ever be able to see the stitching.
Oh no.
Because I'm like
wait, the Donald stitching is yellow and the chair is red.
Okay,
so you can definitely see that one.
So he's a little bit more identifiable.
Yeah, so the Hidden Jack Skellington is on the book on the floor. As you're passing the library. So when you're passing the library, you have like the big
with the heads the bus that follow you.
Yeah. Oh, there's a fun fact about those too. I keep forgetting. There's so much.
I know.
There is literally so much. I could talk for hours.
The one that I was gonna ask you about.
Okay. There's one on the book on the floor. So there's a round table with a bunch of books. The book that he is on the floor. Okay. It is a very dark book, so you might not be able to see it.
He's printed on the page.
Yes, he is like in silver or gold.
Okay.
He's on the like cover of the book.
Look at that.
And then there is one in the attic, which is also on a book on the floor. Constance? Yes, he's with Constance, but not like right next to her. He's like, so you know how like you can see it on both sides, but like this half begins a little later than this half. Yeah. The right begins quick for those who aren't watching the YouTube. The right begins like right away, and then the left delays a little bit and then starts. And then, so the one on the left-hand side is a little bit, like, I think it's like 2 seconds after you get to that side. Not like 1 Mississippi, it's like 1, 2. And then, it's on the book, and that one is silver. I know that one is silver. I think it's like on a dark reddish black book.
I need to ride this ride with you.
Oh, I'll tell, like...
And I just need you to point
when
out
I first started
everything to
working
me.
with, like, the Haunted Mansion,
That's
and
what
my
I
friends
need.
would come to the
That's
park
so
with me,
fun.
they were always like, I'm sitting with her.
Yes, that's so fun. One of them that I've heard is that the book in Madame Leota's room, right when you, like, when you're about to leave her room, is that the book has a magic spell that makes the ghosts, like, come alive. So, like, in the rooms before Madame Leota, you think about it, like, you don't see any ghosts. And then right after Madame Leota,
I have not heard this.
they, like, emerge.
I feel that makes sense though. Like that could be.
It's not the words that she says. It's like the magic spell that's like printed on the book.
Oh, I've never paid attention to her book.
Yeah.
We have
That's the one that I've heard.
I'll save this for later because that's part of your question. But like, there's a character in her scene that I like, and I always pay attention to.
She is my queen.
She's like, I love her.
Me too.
They just announced who's gonna play her in the live action. I screamed.
I know, we can say that because it'll be like way out. But it's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I screamed.
So pumped about it. Yeah.
They said they brought her in on a doom buggy too.
They rotated the doom buggy, and she's like, okay. Question that you get all the time. How many steps do you do in a day when you're working on the runway?
If I had $1 for every time I get asked this, I'm just gonna answer it because depends on the shift. So, like I said earlier, we're not exiled to the belt all day. Like people seem to think I stay there.
At least you get your steps in, though.
Yes, I do. I had a 13-hour shift. I think it's like week before last or something like that. I wear a Fitbit, so we're not allowed to wear Apple Watches because like it's safety critical job. But I have a Fitbit that does track my steps. It was 25,000 steps in a 13-hour shift, and an 8-hour shift it's about 1,500.
Wow.
Or 15,000. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And on a 6-hour shift, it's at least 10,000.
That's wild.
We walk a lot.
Yeah,
like
that's
a lot.
Wild. What's the name of your bat?
Okay, I brought her. Hello, this is she. She has 2 names.
Okay, first of all, I did not know that you named them.
I didn't know that either when I first started working there. Like, again, been going to the mansion forever, and I like didn't know. I never asked. I never heard people asking. But yes, when you finish your training, like when you're training, you're supposed to think of one. If you come up with it right off the bat, that's cool, that's great. But you don't officially give them your name until like you graduate.
Right.
Like you make it. My bat's name, this is actually my second bat because my first one was like scraggly and like old, like because you're not supposed to like keep your costumes and stuff like that. So we had like older bats and stuff like that. This is a nice little fresh one that they brought in when they ordered them. On Wednesdays, because I usually work Wednesdays, my bat's name is Wednesday.
Love that.
On every other day, it is Morticia.
I love that.
Because I love the Addams Family. And, like, when I first started saying that, like, I was like, okay, I have to tell people, like, the whole thing. Because, like, when they would always ask me on Wednesdays, but they wouldn't ask me on any other day.
Right.
So I was like, oh, it's Wednesday. And then, like, I would get, like, the dads that were on vacation, like, oh, what is it tomorrow? Thursday?
Yeah.
Like, no. And so
like, you should say Wednesday Addams.
See.
So then maybe that, like, clarifies.
You know,
Wednesday Addams.
I always just say Wednesday. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I had no idea when I got that question in the bubble. I was like, is this a typo?
No.
What is that? Yeah. And so, like, I just sent it through to you, and you were like, LOL, I get that question all the time. I'm like, okay, so maybe it's a legit thing.
Well,
like,
so, like,
let her answer it.
So, you know, like, it's Halloween. Like,
yeah.
We have the Halloween parties. They also have their bats.
Yes.
I don't know if they always named theirs.
Well, that's what I thought immediately.
But they do now.
I was like, oh, maybe it's the Halloween bat is what they're asking
So
about.
now, I think now they do. I don't know if they always have. But, I first wore that costume last year.
It's such a cute costume.
It is very cute. But it's like kind of gamble with those bats because those bats are on a headband. Mm-hmm. This one has like a whole like thing and like
it's like structure.
I also had a question one time when somebody was like, "How do you put that thing in your head because it doesn't have a headband?" Like I just pin it. I have 4 bobby pins that I put on each side and I cross them. That one is a flimsy, teeny tiny little headband and like suede type of fabric, so it doesn't stay up.
Right.
So that one that I had, I named Disgrace because it's a disgrace in comparison to my actual bat. Yeah, she just wouldn't stay up. She was not having it.
Love that. Oh my gosh,
she was annoying.
Okay, this is the one that I think I'm the most excited for. Mm-hmm. What is the spookiest thing that has ever happened to you at the mansion?
Yeah, I can go as wild as I want with this one because like
Yes, the wilder the better.
So people always joke around like, oh, there's so many ghosts in the Haunted Mansion. I have seen ghosts. Yes, I have seen at least one. I've seen one. I've heard about the other ones. Now, I don't know what everybody believes in, but like I know like I personally believe that there's something else. Like there's an afterlife, there's a beyond, there's whatever.
Right.
So my personal story that I have gone through, and then I have another one, like, because we have a couple of ghosts. I'll tell you them.
Okay.
We have one that kind of stays at the unload belt.
Okay.
We call him Shadow Man. Because, like, he doesn't look like a ghost. Like,
Maybe
he's just a shadow.
Just wants to stay fit. And that's why
he does pace
stays
back
at the
and
belt.
forth. Yeah, he does pace back and forth. I've heard some people say that they saw him in a car, like, going for a ride. He's very, like, keeps to himself, doesn't bother you, doesn't do anything. He just like walks. I have also heard that there is one, so for those of the people that do not know, we have more than one stretch room. Obviously, we're not gonna have you like come in when they're both opening and closing. That's why we open and close the doors, because we are going in between like the shows. So it's really funny because sometimes when I'm in one room, they'll all wait on this one side of the door and then they'll wait to the other door and like it's the other one. But we have, some people say it's a little boy. Some people say, exactly, it's creepy. Some people say it's just a ghost. But that one lives in stretch 2.
Okay.
Because we have 2. I have not experienced that one, but I recently had somebody tell me like, somebody pulled my hair. And I was like, maybe a guest like snagged on. And then they were like, wait, what stretch was she in? And I was like 2. And I was like, oh no. And then there's another one. I don't know where that one is, but like they told me her name is Ginger. I don't know. But my experience was I was at unload. Okay. So typically at the beginning of the day, we have 2 people there. So some positions throughout the day are kind of like support, and some of them are like staple pieces.
Okay.
So like one person, we have a load 1, that's a staple, load 2, which is the console, and then an unload 1 is also the staple. Those are the 3 belt staples. Unload assist is obviously your assist.
Right.
That is the one. So when unload is there, unload stays at the console, and then the unload assist is at the end of the belt telling you to watch your step as you leave. I did not have a unload assist that day, or like at that time.
Okay.
And so I was walking at the unload belt, and I kept seeing, like, I was like, oh, my break should be coming soon. I'm like really hungry. I'm really tired. Like, I kept looking back and like seeing like, oh, when is my person coming to like switch me out? I kept seeing like a shadow. So like when you go to relieve that person of their position, there are certain safety measures that you have to take to uptake that position. Mm-hmm. So you have to check to see that everything is okay at the console. So when there's only one person there, I'm not at the console. I'm there telling you to watch your step. Mm-hmm. Like you bump back. So I thought somebody was walking up to the console, and I turned around and like nobody's there. And so I was like, okay. I keep going and going, like a minute or 2 pass by, and I see it again. I'm like, what the heck? Like, is somebody coming to bump me or not? Like, what, do they like change their mind and then go back? So it happened about like 5 times. And then I eventually have somebody take the position for me. And I go into the break room and I start taking my break, and I was like, can I just say something that was like really weird? They were like, what? And I told them what happened, and they were like, where were you again? And I was like, I was at unload. And they were like, oh yeah, that's the Shadow Man. He like just walks back and forth. And I like, when they told me that, I cannot make this up, I felt like the blood from my head like dropped just to my feet. And I was just like, what? And they were like, yeah, like, did nobody like tell you that we have ghosts here? And I was like,
yeah, 909 happy haunts. I know about them.
They did kind of tell me, but like I brushed it off. I was like, no, there's no way, because I've never seen or experienced any type of like, I've had like chills on my back and felt like somebody was like watching me before, but like I've never like fully like seemed to have experience.
Right.
And that was the first time again, like, I don't know if, like, there really are, or if, like, sometimes, like, I see things out of my peripheral vision. I don't know, but that is the best way that I can explain, like, the weirdest thing that has happened to me at work.
Spooky.
Besides the people, like, dumping their ashes, but, like,
besides the really morbid thing that happens on a regular basis.
Because that's not normal, like, but, like, it's funny because I work there now, and it's become normal. Like,
right.
That is the weirdest thing, but, like, the other one was, like, the girl who was like, oh, yeah, somebody pulled my hair, and I was like, oh.
You creepy.
I genuinely believe somebody, like, got snagged, but we're just gonna say that.
I think it was the ghost. What is your favorite Haunted Mansion character and why?
Okay, so everybody's like, I love Madame Leota, I love the Hitchhiking Ghost, I love the Hatbox. We don't have the Hatbox, so I'm big mad about that. See, I like, Lucy. So we have a crow whose name is Lucifer. And Lucy,
is it the crow on the
yes.
By the guy who's trying to get out the coffin?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So the thing about that is that it's supposed to be one crow, but there are crows in multiple show scenes because she, or I forget whether it's a he or a she, but I just call it she because I say Lucy. She follows you on your tour. So, like, the first one that you see, I think, is the one in the guy who's like, let me out of here. Yeah. That is the first one. So, like, when you open, you say good morning. Like, you pet her and say good morning. We don't say good morning, Madame Leota. We say good morning to Lucy. Lucy runs the show. And then there's the one behind Madame Leota who's sitting on the chair.
Okay, yeah.
And then that one's following. And then, there is the one, so sometimes it's not working, like more than not, it is not working, but there's one, like, on that backward incline, coming out of the attic, it's, like, on the right-hand corner, like, if you ride it now, you'll see it, but the eyes are supposed to be, like, lights, and they just haven't been working for a while. Okay. That is the third one, and then the fourth one is right before, the ghost host is like, oh, there you are. Like, don't let Hitchhiking Ghosts, like, follow you home or this and that. It's, like, right when you go under, like, the thing when you see the Hitchhiking Ghost. That is the last one. So that is Lucy. She was my favorite. I pet her every time I would close. Sometimes I let her nibble on my finger. Because, like, the mouth does open and close. Yeah. And, like, you can't reach any of the other ones. Right. So that's the one that we always say good morning and good night to.
That's so cute. I didn't even realize that, like, that was the only, if you would have said that's the only crow in the ride.
You would have believed me, yeah.
But, like, I haven't even seen the other ones.
Because you're focused on all of the other stuff. Yeah, because, like,
it's true.
In that scene, all you look at is the crow and then the guy trying to get out.
Honestly, like, this is making me appreciate this Haunted Mansion so much because Jonathan and I went to Disneyland Paris.
Oh.
And that by far is still my favorite mansion.
Manor. Yeah.
No. That one is that one's in
Hong Kong.
Yes, because it's like, because they, like, value their ancestors so much, it's, like, very taboo to talk about ghosts. So that one's the one with the little monkey. He's, like, a little, like, one of those symbol monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
And he, like, causes havoc.
Yeah.
What's the one? No, you're right. Phantom Manor is Paris, and Mystic Manor is Hong Kong. But that one is one complete storyline.
The Phantom?
Yes.
I heard it was about the bride.
Yes. And I felt like I liked it more because of that. I'm like, oh, this feels like this has, like, way more of a cohesive story and you can follow it.
It's really funny because I have friends from other mansions. I have one from Phantom Manor.
That's so fun.
And I also have a butler friend who is from Disneyland.
I did love the Disneyland one.
Yeah.
But now, like, knowing all of these things in the way that, like, because to me at first, like, the rooms of our mansion seem like just disconnected, like, oh, like stereotypical, like, spooky scenes, you know, but, like, hearing how they're, like, all interconnected, I'm like, oh, I kind of appreciate it so much more.
Like, there's just so many things. Like, I know that one of the cool things that they told me because, like, so our training is spread out through a couple of days, and the day 4 is supposed to be the really fun one because that's our closing shift. And when you close, you do the walkthrough at night.
Oh, I would
and
love
so,
to do that.
Yeah, they tell us, well, you also do a morning walkthrough, but the night walkthrough is where you can take your time.
Yeah.
And so that is when they gave us all the facts and the things that
It's
we
like
could
the lore of
like
the
the things that
ride.
I am telling you. One of my favorite things that they did tell me is like, so you know the guy at the piano?
Yeah.
He has a name. I always forget the name.
In the ballroom?
Yes.
Mhm.
So if you were to take off the spinning ghosts that are coming out of his organ.
Okay, yeah.
If you were to take it off and to put it in a music box, it plays the tune of Grim Grinning Ghosts. Yes. Yeah, if you were like the heads of the ghosts,
right,
like are the little like
yeah.
dots on the
yeah.
thing. If you put that in a music box, it plays the tune of Grim Grinning Ghosts. They told me that, and I was absolutely shocked.
It's like the attention to detail is
it was insane.
mind-blowing.
Like it's like the Pepper's ghost effect. Like I've gotten to see the other side of it because
I would love to see the other side.
A lot more bizarre than you would think it is. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, it looks so cool," and it is. But it's like they're so brightly painted, so they can look the way that they do.
Right.
While you're looking at the mansion, that it's so like, oh, that's weird. The females are leading the men because it's a reflection, so it looks like the men are leading. The ones that are coming out of the casket.
Yeah.
Next time you go, try to see if any of them have feet, because they do not have feet. Because back then, what they would say is like most of the caskets were just 6 feet. If you were taller than 6 feet, to make you fit, they would chop off your feet. So that's why they don't have feet.
Oh, wow.
There's just so much.
Yeah.
Like the attic is my favorite room.
Yeah.
Mainly because
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Like every time I do a walkthrough, I find something different.
New.
I had no idea her hatchet was in that room. Sitting right next to her.
Oh, I didn't either.
You have to look for that one too. Like it's visible, but like you have to look.
I need you to create
like a spreadsheet.
No, like a scavenger hunt.
Oh, I can do that.
Make like a branded.
You can put it all for your
yes.
friends.
We should make a podcast branded scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Of like, did you find these certain things? That would be so fun.
We're gonna get all these people in the mansion and be like, do you know where they're
Yeah. Print it out. Bring it to the mansion.
Oh, did you watch my podcast? Yeah. So I think so. She has 9 necklaces, one from each of the husbands, because she's had 9 husbands. At the end, before you go out, I think it's 5, not 9. There are 5 hat boxes, and she's had 6 husbands. I forget like what the number is, but there's hat boxes because she's chopped off all the heads of her husbands, and their heads are supposed to be in there. There's one less because one of her husbands was a military husband. And if they are, like, I guess when they're in combat and they lose anything, everything is buried with them. Oh. So his head was buried with him, I think. That is what I was told. I don't know if that's specific. WDI, please don't come for me. But, yeah.
So, I love all of these, like, hidden
There's
things.
Just so much. So much.
Which brings me to the last hidden thing I want to talk about. Because Disney is notorious for these.
Oh, yes.
And
I used to hunt for them.
I have never found any in the Haunted Mansion.
There is 2.
So I would love to know where the hidden Mickeys are.
Okay, so there's one official one that you yourself can find.
Okay.
The one hidden Mickey that you can find, and it's like the official one, when you're leaving the ride and you are looking at the stage of the like the singing lady and the guy's holding her braid.
Oh, yeah.
And then the like executioner dude, I don't know what he is. But instead of looking at them straight ahead, look to your right. You are going to see like it looks like a hallway with like a drape, a fabric, the ghost.
Yeah, and it's like it kind of looks
fabric.
like the Grim Reaper and the fabric's like moving.
Yes.
Okay, I know that.
Look at his hand. It's in his hand.
I look at him all the time, and I've never seen it.
So it's not like a drawn out Mickey. It's the Mickey is black and his hand is around it. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's the official one.
That is the official one. The unofficial one is the stretch rooms. So we have the room you're waiting in. The room you are waiting in is the head. The stretch rooms are the ears.
I never noticed that before.
And then
I never comprehended that before because I did know that there were 2.
Mm-hmm. There are 2. So like one you can see and one you can't see, but like you know it's there. And then apparently, allegedly, our Haunted Mansion, our ride track, is in the shape of a Goofy. I don't, like, I just found this out, so I don't know if this is
You need to see a plan of that.
I think it's online.
Trace it out.
I think it's online. Yeah.
Okay, I need to find the hidden Mickey.
Yeah, so we may not have like
that.
A bunch of hidden Mickeys, but we have a hidden Donald. We have 2 hidden Mickeys. We have
You
Skellingtons.
got a lot going on.
We got all sorts of stuff.
You got a lot going on.
Can you see them all? Not really, but
because it's very dark in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's close it on out. I want you to tell me a story about the most basic thing you've ever done.
What did I put?
You put wearing a selfie at Disney.
Oh yeah, that was big basic.
Is the biggest basic thing I've ever heard.
That was big basic. So like when I did it, it was, I think we still had to wear masks inside. So it was like right when selkies were like becoming a thing to wear at the park.
Yeah.
It was, my friend let me borrow it. I don't own a selkie because like
Those things are expensive.
They are expensive, but like if you're gonna wear it more than like 3 times,
I just don't
then
have
like,
some place that I would wear it to.
Oh yeah, me neither. And like also when I wore it, my boyfriend was like, "You look like a cupcake." Like, so that comment alone.
It is also a very unflattering shape on like most body types.
Well, I think they have more. Like they have one that's like a silhouette, but they have one that's like just a bust, and then it's like no figure whatsoever. I think I looked like more than I actually weighed in that dress. Some people pull it off really great, so props to them. However, it is not like conventional. Like that bad boy is itchy.
Yeah, I've heard they're really itchy.
Had I not brought a shirt to go under it, my ladies would have been out. Like it is not, like you really gotta like be committed to like the photo, the experience, whatever, to wear it, because like sometimes like I'll be working and I see a girl like come in, like not even like the full one, like just like the mid-sized one, and they're just like feeling themselves, good for you, but they have the fan, they're hot, like you know they're itchy, like they are, you know, like there is a price they are paying to be wearing that.
Is definitely something that I would have to like wear just for the photo,
and like that's all I have to
immediately change out of,
because like as pretty as they are,
it's only there for the photograph.
Princess as I feel, you will not catch me dead wearing that the whole day.
Yeah, that could not be a whole day thing.
And I think I even went and got like this pink drink to like
just like top off the basic.
It wasn't
even
it
more.
was not like the bubble gum, it was like the rainbow one that everybody and their mom had.
Amazing.
But it's fine. I love the picture, so I'm not even like, it's basic, but like
no,
I don't care because I've done it.
We celebrate basic here. All right, Nikki, thank you so much for being on the show. Let the listeners know where they can find you.
So my very, very unoriginal Instagram handle is nikki.the.ghost.host. So like there's a dot in between it. It's Nikki the Ghost Host. And then I just recently made a TikTok, so don't get too excited about that one. There's like 2 videos on there, and they're not even like super Disney, but it's Nikki NIKKI031199.
There you go. So follow Nikki on Instagram for sure, and on TikTok.
Random things, if you want to see random things.
Yes,
on TikTok.
I love that for you. Nikki, thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
Well, that's it for today's episode, Magical Basics. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to give us a follow and let us know what you thought of it. All of our links are in the show notes and description box down below. If you liked today's episode, please give us a rate and review, and don't forget to include your Instagram handle to be featured as our basic of the week. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We upload new episodes on Wednesdays and other videos on More Magic Mondays. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. So until then, Basics, stay magical.